Okay, so now let's talk about market failure. So, market failure is all about how markets might not allocate resources in a way that maximizes society's living standards. So, things don't always go to plan in a free market, and that gives us market failure. So, this is pretty much when the market fails to allocate resources in a way that maximizes living standards. So simple as that. That is the definition of market failure. So there's quite a few market failures to think about. So externalities, public goods, common access resources, asymmetric info, and government failure. Okay, so now let's go to common access resources. So this is related to sustainability, and key points about common access resources. First, they're rivalrous, meaning that when one person consumes them, another person consuming them is impacted. And they're non-excludable. So just because one person is non-excludable means that you can't exclude anyone from consuming these goods or services. So, market equilibrium, the quantity traded is too high. We're not at social equilibrium because these are often overused and they're not managed very well. So an example of a common access resource is like land resource. So for example, fishing, the fish in the ocean. That's a common access resource because one, it's rivalrous. So if I go fish and I overfish, it means that someone else fishing from that same ocean might have less access to fish. Next, it's non-excludable because, there's a huge ocean. It's not like someone can own it. It's not like someone can own it and say, well, you're not allowed to fish here, you can't fish here. So that's an example. How does the government react? They might put limits. So for example, in terms of fishing, they might say, well, you can't catch fish that are smaller than this size. You can't catch more than this many fish in one day. So putting those limits might help sustain those common access resources.